Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we're going to be taking a look at 10 brawlers which I think are going to be really safe to upgrade in the meta. So a lot of you guys are asking, well, who do I upgrade? And we're in this awkward limbo where, of course, we've got Brawl Talk in a few weeks time, so you don't want to be upgrading brawlers that might get a nerf, but at the same time you're just impatient, so you just want to at least put your resources into a safe brawler. So these 10 brawlers are definitely safe in my opinion, and actually quite underrated, maybe even some of them getting buffs. So the first one is going to be Colt. So I don't think we'll be getting a buff anytime soon, but I don't think he'll be getting nerfed either because he's very strong in a few particular game modes. The first one, of course, being Heist. He's literally one of the best brawlers to use in Heist. Maybe Larry and Laurie and Kette, the only brawlers better than him, but still, every single scenario he's so strong. Reason being, because he has infinite reload. You have the reload gear on top of the extra gadget charge gear with a speed loader gadget as well. You're literally just going to be shooting infinitely, and even if you're a terrible Colt, you're eventually going to start hitting the shots. He does a lot of damage as well, and like I said, Heist, he's just insane. Of course, with a hypercharge as well, you're able to cycle through a lot quickly because you're just able, again, just to constantly shoot out shots and just cycle even more. Brawl, he's a fantastic option. I'm using him a lot there, and of course, he's an underrated pick in game modes like Gem Grab and Hot Zone as well. So for me, Colt, he's very strong in the right hands, definitely creeping towards the A tier. So jumping into the next brawler, which definitely won't be receiving a nerf in my opinion, is going to be Kette. So she's actually really strong right now, creeping towards the S tier as well. And of course, just like Colt, she really excels in Heist because of that hypercharge. Literally one hypercharge super is 25%, so of course she's golden S tier there, but she's also really strong pick in Brawl, Gem Grab, Hot Zone, all of these game modes where tanks are prevalent. Kette's going to be insane on, and again, I don't think she's going to receive a nerf because she's not overly toxic. She might receive a slight nerf to a hypercharge or something like that, where you're able to just chain like crazy. But like I said, if you use the mass attack style power and you're able to chain 1, 2, 3 supers, you can easily get some team wipes in. Again, she's a solid option in some gem grab maps. She can counter a few of the mid brawlers as well, and you can even just literally just play her in any scenario. Some of the top brawlers in the meta collect counters, like Belle, for example, Meg, other brawlers like that. So she'll always be pretty valuable, and for me, safe upgraded. So next up on the list, we have 8-Bit. So 8-Bit's in this weird period where he's pretty underrated, but I think right now he's starting to become back into the meta because he's such a fantastic counter. Already mentioned it, but to Leon, I play 8-Bit quite a lot now outside of Heist in game modes like Knockout and Bounty because Leon's so prevalent, and also just combining his star power booster with a lot of snipers, or just anyone in general, you're just able to quickly domino over the opponents. So once you get a lead in Knockout and Bounty, put the 8-Bit turret in the back, and it's so hard for enemies to push into you no matter what brawlers you have around you. So of course he's good in that sense. Again, I don't think he's going to be getting any nerf anytime soon. I was a bit skeptic in the previous meta because he was close to the S tier, pretty much S tier, but now he's starting to fall a bit, so he's pretty safe. Could even be receiving some buffs, I don't really know, maybe a hypercharge. But again, in Heist, of course, he's absolutely insane, and there are some counters to him right now in Heist, but he's still really strong. And in Gem Grab as well, still very usable on passive game maps like Backyard Bowl, very usable as well. So 8-Bit, super versatile, and he's definitely not going to receive a nerf anytime soon. Next up on the list, it is Stu. So I always recommend maxing out Stu in Power League on my videos for over a year now. So if you haven't got him maxed out, just max him out already. Again, if you take a look back at my counter video as well a few days ago, literally Stu was on the list so many times because he's such a good matchup brawler into pretty much everything. The only things he really struggles with, for example, if a brawler has like a gadget, or if they outrange him and don't feed him super, but once he gets that super, if you're a good Stu, you can make anything happen. The amount of pressure you can get on team is insane, and again, versatility is just insane with Stu. Brawl, Gem Grab, Hot Zone, he's insane on all of those game modes. You can even use him in Heist in some settings to counter those pesky brawlers like Egor, for example. He's actually a good hybrid brawler there. So for me, you know, Stu's a no-brainer. He's not going to receive any nerfs anytime soon, but he's one of the most picked brawlers in draft. Moving on to the next brawler you should be looking to upgrade before the update, it is Belle. So of course, the big reason being is because she's getting a hypercharge in the next update. Well, it's not 100% confirmed, but 99.9% confirmed because Brawl Stars put out a video a couple of weeks ago, and in the gameplay, Belle actually had like a hypercharge icon there. So it just goes to show, you know, if you get your power points in early, or you're just kind of just stuck in limbo, as I said, just not knowing what to upgrade, then Belle is a safe option. And of course, through multiple metas for like over a year now, she's just been the go-to pick for me. For example, if I'm playing Heist and, you know, other mid brawlers like 8-Bit, Piper are taken, then I always just like to go Belle. You can always get value with it, Same goes in multiple game modes, like some passive maps in Brawl, Hot Zone, Knockout, Bounty. Literally every single game mode and map, you can kind of make a case for Belle sometimes. Of course, I think her weaker game would be in Brawl, but you can always make some good pressure with Belle, and especially she's a good counter to a lot of different brawlers, like Jean, for example, if you play a lot of Knockout and Bounty. So Belle, super consistent, and of course, again, that hypercharge. So next up on the list, another super consistent brawler over the years, it is Eve. So Eve, you've got to be really safe in putting your power points into this brawler, because there's just no way that she receives any type of nerf, no way. But she's always in and around the B/A tier, because in a few game modes in particular, she's so strong in. She's like an S tier pick on some maps as well, like Out in the Open, on Heist, Bridge Too Far, just any map with some water on. Eve's always going to be one of the best brawlers to use, and the only way I see Eve being removed from the meta is maybe the other snipers in the game, like, I don't know, Piper, Belle, Brock, all of these sharpshooters get a hyper charge and she doesn't. That's probably the only way that I see her not being involved in the next meta. Also, I kind of expect the map pool to change as well with the update, and there's so many bushy maps right now, so maybe more open maps, so this might benefit Eve a lot more. I don't know, kind of reaching there, but I think Eve will just be a consistent pick no matter the meta. So next up on the list, we have Buzz. So again, just like Belle, Buzz is getting a hypercharge in the next update. We don't know what this hypercharge is, but all you got to do is take a look at the assassins right now that have hypercharges, or tanks, and those hypercharges are pretty much broken, or just they were insane on release. So again, Fang, Echo, just think of what Buzz can do, especially because he has that stun mechanic already built into him. I'm scared for this, so I think he's definitely going to be the brawler next update that everyone wants to upgrade and get the hype charge with. So you may as well just upgrade him now. I think there's like 1% chance that Buzz isn't like completely insane with the hype charge release. So for me, it's just a no-brainer. At the moment, he kind of lacks a lot of different stuff in the multiple game modes, but he's still decent and fun to play, so you can just have that with him. You don't have to upgrade every meta brawler in the game, right? But just relying on the next update, because he's probably gonna be broken. So next up, we have RT. So there's always a few brawlers in the game that are just trusty, old, reliable, right? Just like Lola, Belle, and RT fits into this mold perfectly, because again, there's just a few game modes in particular where RT is always a good pick. If you're always unsure what to go, you can go RT, because he's not bad against anything really. He's good against everything as long as he hit your shots. It's a pretty hard brawler to play because of the thin projectile, but if you can get a few taps in, you'll confirm kills pretty easily. So again, Knockout, Bounty, he's always been played in Power League, so again, you can never go wrong there. And in other game modes, I'd say he's probably a little bit underrated, but not on the stronger side. But again, he's always floating in and around the B/A tier, so you can always be safe in RT. He's not going to receive any nerfs anytime soon, and again, might even be getting a hype charge or some buffs. Next up on the list, we have Meg. So if you've been watching my Power League streams, I've probably been pushing the Meg agenda a little bit too much, but she's a really strong brawler in the game right now, and specifically to counter a lot of those snipers. So there's a few of you guys in the comment section below that are still in denial that Meg counters snipers. The pros go it all the time. Whenever they see a sniper, they go Meg in the draft. But in Knockout and Bounty, the reason why Meg is so strong is because it will take Piper, Mandy, Nanny like 5, 6, 7 shots to kill Meg. If she uses Toolbox as well, or even the other gadget, it will just take them so long to kill a Meg. And by the time they've got Meg weak, if you're a good Meg, you'll have pushed the enemies back all the way into spawn, and that is just essential for getting control of the map. You're thinking on maps like Out in the Open and Close Quarters as well. If you can push the opponents back into spawn, then you're able to pretty much win the game, because the gas is eventually going to catch up to them and they're just going to walk into your shots. So it's just common logic in Brawl Stars. Getting presence on the map, it just equals wins most of the time. Again, in Hot Zone, of course, she's just going to have such good survivability. In Gem Grab, I pick her quite often against a few other mids. I don't know, again, like people like going Piper and Nanny, so Meg's just going to be a good mid option for sure. So for me, Meg is like a B/A tier brawler easily, could even be receiving some buffs. Definitely not going to get nerfed, and a super strong brawler in the game. And lastly on the list, we have Buster. So another brawler which is in and around the A/S tier. I don't think there's any way that Buster's going to get nerfed anytime soon, because he's such a good brawler. I think he's a little bit underrated, because since the slow got removed from his slow-mo replay gadget, people just underrated him. But I think he's a good option on a few maps in particular, in pretty much every single game mode. You know, Bounty, look at Laybake, he's a really strong option. You look at Knockout, Close Quarters, and Out in the Open, really good for him. Hot Zone, you've got some good maps for him as well in there. Gem Grab, there's always a map with some grass, and Buster's always a solid option. it just takes a little bit more brain cells to use Buster, in my opinion, in regards to other tanks. But anyways, that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know down in the comment section below whether I missed out on any brawlers which you think are pretty strong and not going to be receiving any nerfs in the next update. So that's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.